Imagine living in a place surrounded by some of the biggest industries in Nigeria. Yet, when night falls, darkness takes over.
It's another episode of Eleme podcast. Please like and subscribe to our channel.
Welcome to Eleme, a semi-urban community in Rivers State, located just outside Port Harcourt, the Garden City. This is a place where multinational companies operate every day. Companies like the Eleme Petrochemicals, Notori Chemical Industries, and even the Port Harcourt Refinery. There is also the busy Onne ports, one of the Nigeria's major getaways for international trade. With all these industrial presence, you would expect constant electricity, booming businesses, and thriving communities. But the reality is very different. For more than 3 decades, many parts of Eleme have struggled with inconsistent and inadequate electricity supply. And this is more than just an inconvenience, it is a major barrier to development. Let me tell you a simple story. There is a young man in Eleme, let's call him Churemi. Churemi learned a skill. He is a welder. He dreams of opening a small fabrication workshop to produce gates, doors, metalworks for buildings around the community. The demand is there. Construction is growing and people need his services. But there is one problem: electricity. Every day, Churemi must spend a large portion of his earnings on fuel for generator just to power his welding machine. Sometimes fuel prices rise, sometimes the generator breaks down, and sometimes the noise and fumes become so unbearable. And on the days when he cannot afford fuel, his workshop simply closes. Now imagine this story multiplied across hundreds of small businesses in Eleme: barbers, tailors, cold room operators, internet cafes, charging stations, and even smaller factories like the bread factories, the pure water factories. All are struggling to survive because something as basic as stable electricity is missing. But you may ask, why electricity matters? Electricity is not just another turning on lights. Electricity is an economic power. It enables businesses to grow, it attracts investors, it improves education and healthcare, and it creates jobs. When electricity is stable, businesses spend less on generators and more on expansion. Young people gain opportunities, innovations grows, and communities develop. But when electricity is unreliable, the opposite happens. Businesses shrink, investors will start staying away, entrepreneurs will lose their motivation, and young people will remain unemployed. Then what happens to the development? It will slow down. So what makes the situation in Eleme even more striking is the irony that this is a community that hosts massive industrial facilities, companies producing fertilizers, petrochemicals, facilitates petroleum products, handling international cargo, but yet many households and small business nearby still struggle with basic power supply. And that raises an important question: how can a region which hosts major industrial infrastructure, still faces a decade-long electricity challenge. The lack of stable electricity also affects education. Students cannot study properly at night. It affects the healthcare. Clinics struggle to preserve medicines and operate equipment. Young people who want to run digital businesses like hubs, creative studios, cannot rely on a consistent power. In a world moving quickly towards the digital economy and industrial innovation, electricity is the foundation. Without it, communities are left behind. So what can be done? This is where leadership and collective actions become important. Community leaders, policymakers, and industry stakeholders must begin to ask serious questions about sustainable electricity solutions for the people of Eleme. Solutions which include improving the grid infrastructure, encouraging independent power projects, partnering with this industry for community power initiatives, also exploring renewable energy solutions like having a solar mini grids around the community, because development cannot happen in the darkness, and Eleme is not a small forgotten village. It is a strategic economic hub, a community surrounded by opportunity, a place with hardworking people, skilled youths, and a growing entrepreneurial spirit. But for that potential to truly flourish, electricity must become reliable and accessible. The future of Eleme should not be defined by darkness. It should be defined by power, productivity, and progress. And that conversation must start now. See you next time.